My name is David Daniel Boll, and these are the headlines for Friday, the 6th of February, 2009. Tax cuts, not handouts, for our children's sake, says Turnbull. Coalition plan equals recession, says Treasury Secretary Ken Henry. What Henry doesn't say is that the spending package of Rudd will not prevent a recession either, or limit it. BBC receives a backlash over the sacking of Thatcher's daughter from television show. Katic grabbed Clark by the throat in dressing room dust-up. This looks like being the beginning of the media going sour on Ponting. Teen accused of Facebook sex blackmail. Rudd ready to crack skulls to push enormous pork barrel through. Girl tries to commit suicide to save dad. Poor kid probably did not know that had they been successful, their liver would have been useless. Actors and sports stars are among those stung by Madoff. 44 degrees heat wave ready to hit Sydney. Police stun 41 taser guns in raid. Fourth priest on child sex charges in Newcastle. And in comments, here we have a comedy piece from Tim Brunero. Obama's pay cap clampdown should be just the start. From Tim Blair, change he believed in. An 18-year-old high school student is accused of posing as a girl on Facebook, tricking at least 31 male classmates into sending him naked photos of themselves, and then blackmailing some for sex acts. And if you check out the guy's t-shirt, he's wearing an Obama change t-shirt. Flypaper, the paper on which Ross Garnaut's 500-page carbon-cutting report was printed, came all the way from Italy. Local paper was rejected due to its lower quality. And from Andrew Bolt, you aren't alone in thinking this will fail. Kevin Rudd says he must spend a staggering $42 billion, and right now, to save us from recession. This is a time when economies need stimulus support, the Prime Minister says. And who do you hear disagreeing? Most economic analysts praise his decisive action. Most commentators backed his demand that Parliament pass his package by today, at the latest. No argument allowed. For the Liberals to oppose this was suicidal braggadocio, scoffed a Sydney Morning Herald writer. It's everyone against the Liberals, a Melbourne ABC radio host jeered at a Liberal politician trying to explain why the opposition wanted to spend half this and more wisely. Never mind the Herald Sun online poll or Channel 7's phone-in, both recorded deep worry among many thousands of Australian taxpayers. Hey, what would you know names know? And so the stampede to gamble more money in one hit than we've spent before seems irresistible. You'd get more dissent in a cliff top of lemmings. Yet, if you're as scared by this as I am, here's something you need to know. To give you the courage to say so, you'll need to click on the link. Killed in a green frenzy. More than 30 Victorians died in last week's heat in one of the great scandals of green politics. About 20 more people died in South Australia, but neither state government is telling yet how precisely the victims died, saying they are awaiting coroner's reports. But already warming extremists, such as Professor Clive Hamilton, are excusing the same government, which almost certainly contributed to at least some of these deaths. Australians are already dying from climate change, shouted the Professor of Public Ethics at the Australian National University and author of Scorcher. But Hamilton is utterly wrong in portraying global warming as the killer. Fact, cold, not heat, is what really kills people, as we see now in Britain. Fact, a warming world would save countless lives, not cost them. And fact, those who died last week were in less danger from global warming than from the deadly incompetence of green governments trying to stop it. Kennett warns against free cash. Measuring a man by the size of his staff, it's an ego thing, in Andrew Bolt's opinion. Kevin Rudd's entourage at the 2008 Olympics was bigger than most of the national teams that competed there. Trying to think of better ways to spend $42 billion? Can Rudd really sell what Obama can't? Even Barack Obama, hailed as the Lincoln of our times, can't sell a stimulus package that's every bit as bloated and pork-filled as Kevin Rudd's. At this crucial juncture in the push to pass an economic recovery package, President Obama finds himself in the most unlikely of places. He is losing the message war. Despite Obama's sky-high personal approval ratings, Polls show support has declined for his stimulus bill since Republicans and their conservative talk radio allies began railing against what they labeled as pork barrel spending within it. The sheer size of it, hovering at about $900 billion, has prompted more protests that are now causing some moderate and conservative Democrats to flinch, and worse, hesitate. The anxiety over lost momentum seems almost palpable this week as the president in television interviews voiced frustration with his White House progress and the way his recovery program was being demonized as Democratic spending frenzy. The Costello alternative. So what would Peter Costello do that Kevin Rudd isn't if he were in charge? Well, for one, he wouldn't blow $42 billion on things like insulation bats. Some extracts from Costello's interview with the ABC Madonna King outlining his alternative agenda, no link. The spending should be directed towards jobs, and the best way of actually doing that would be to give financial incentives for employers who take on labor, or preferably to cut the cost for employers to take on new workers. I actually believe in balancing budgets, and I left a $20 billion surplus so we could have had $20 billion for incentives. The idea of insulating houses was put to me as a treasurer a couple of years ago, and I didn't think it was a good use of taxpayers' money. We didn't get the government paying for insulation of houses when the economy was strong. Rudd and Swan say that the government should pay for it now that the economy is weak. The most important thing is to make sure that the financial system is strong. The deposit guarantee has been a mistake. This should be revisited. The next thing to make sure that monetary policy is working in favor of the economy, and it was a mistake to be raising interest rates last year. It will be a mistake to change industrial relations laws, which will put people out of work. The government shouldn't do that. It shouldn't have job-destroying industrial relations laws. The cost of employing labor should be lessened. That is, some of the tax burden, particularly in relation to employers, should be taken off. I would be doing something for the unemployed. Now, there was a lot in that statement that was about people who have paid tax in the last year and families who are on benefits, and of course, they will enjoy them, but there is nothing actually for the unemployed. You would assist the unemployed, and particularly assist the unemployed in being able to get into work. And this bit of maths? The Treasury paper shows this $42 billion package of Kevin Rudd's will support, not create, will support 90,000 jobs. $42 billion for 90,000 jobs. The package will support one job for $400,000. And when a symbol actually has to do something. Newsweek is frustrated with its messiah. Barack Obama began making his comeback Wednesday, apparently aware that he has all but lost control of the agenda in Washington at a time when he simply can't afford to do so. Obama's biggest problem isn't Taxgate, which resulted in the terrible Tuesday departure of his trusted friend Tom Daschle and the defanging of his Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, nor is the number one problem that the president can't seem to win a single Republican vote for a stimulus package. That's a symptom, not a cause. The reason Obama is getting so few votes is that he is no longer setting the terms of debate over how to save the economy. Instead, the Republican Party, the one we thought lost the election, is doing that.